Maybe I kind of sound like a jazz singer right now. Like maybe like with this voice, with
Could
my
you
little
sing us
nasaliness.
some jazz?
I don't know what would be like a jazz song that I could sing right now.
Stormy weather.
Stormy weather.
Which name do you prefer? Rachel Eckels or Hamilton?
Hamilton.
Hamilton now.
Okay.
She's married.
Yeah.
She's married. Do you like Eckels better?
I've basically had Eckels all my
Your whole
life,
life,
right? Not all my life,
Yeah.
but the majority of my life. I changed it when I was 21. So that was, and I'm 53 now, so it's literally been all of my adulthood. So it was like it's something I have to get used to.
Man, you look good for 53.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's because that
you.
black don't crack. I get to say that because Sean says that, so I get to say it. I'm black by association.
I say injection.
Wow.
Might need to take that out. Disclaimer on this episode.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
so happy to have you on this show, Rachel, because as I call you, Ray Ray.
Right.
Because you are one of the most interesting people that I have met. And we met one beautiful night, stars in the sky, probably a full moon, at Norberto's.
Absolutely.
I was having a martini,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I normally get there. And then there was this lady. And she was new. That's a new face, I thought to myself. I'm like, well, you know me. I have to go talk to that new person. So I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that you are really freaking cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you think I was cool?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You walked up to me and I was just like, oh my God, we hit it off instantaneously.
Yeah.
So it was just like, let's
Yeah.
make a connection.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it's just been a beautiful ride.
You have
Beautiful friendship.
incredible energy.
Aw, thank
and
you.
I love being around you. I feel you're like one of those people where I always leave with my cup overflowing. And so, like, you're a gem.
Oh, thank
And so
you.
I'm so glad that you found this sweet little community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
It was literally divine. Everything was divine.
Yeah.
Everything from how we found it to an Uber ride from Cordado to San Juan. That's how we found Humacao. Because
Okay.
the Uber guy, we were telling the Uber driver, yeah, we're thinking about moving to Puerto Rico. And he goes, well, where? And I was like, oh, we were thinking Cordado, San Juan, Old San Juan. And he goes, no, here's 5 places you should pick. And he named the 5 places, but Humacao stuck out because I said, how do you say that? And he says, cow, like a cow. And I was like, oh, okay. And it literally resonated in my soul, right? And I was just like, okay, cool. And we had a realtor come. We met him online, and we came down. We scheduled a date to come down, and he ghosted us. He literally ghosted us. So I was just like, well, now what do we do? As we were leaving the hotel, checking out, the young man said, how can I help you? I mean, how was your stay? Blah, blah, blah. What did you come down here for? And we told him. And he goes, well, I'm a realtor. He gave us his card. And from that rabbit hole, it just kept going. The golden nuggets literally kept coming. And it's been a beautiful ride since then.
And
That's
you got
crazy.
married here.
We got married here, yes.
How soon after that did that happen?
We moved in January. We got married in October.
Okay.
We didn't finalize our venue until October 1st. October 1st.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So we wanted to have it somewhere authentic, right? We wanted our guests, because they were going to be traveling here, to be really immersed in the Puerto Rican culture. And so I was like, And one of our neighbors invited us to her art gallery showing at El Scuche. And I was like, okay, we'll go. And we went, and I walked in that place, and I literally fell in love with it. As I was walking around, I could feel like the energy of the place, and I was just like, do you guys have weddings here? And they were like, no. It's like, well, how can I have a wedding here? And they were like, well, write a letter to the manager and see what she says. I did it. She goes, I'll get back to you. I literally called her from, I think that was June. June is when we went. Or maybe it was May. From May until August, I kept calling her. I kept calling and no answer, no nothing. And I'm just like, well, what do we do now? And like the last moment, I was like, well, maybe we should just look for a large Airbnb. And Spirit just kept on saying, relax. But I was like, no. I need to figure it out. October 1st, she called and she's like, you've been approved. She's like, you come down and we'll figure out where you want to have the arch. How do you want to decorate? All because this is going to be a historical site, one. And two, they've never had a wedding at this art gallery. So they didn't know what to do. So they had to go to the mayor of Catalina and ask him if it was okay. So it was it was so beautiful how things literally came together.
Wow.
Literally came together. And so we had a magical wedding. So the wedding was there, and then we went to Norberto's for the reception. Which
Fun.
Aww.
We gave our guests a really good, they got to see the roads. They really got to experience Puerto Rico at its finest. So
I love it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I remember I first met you at book club.
yes.
Not Smut Sluts.
Oh.
Regular book club.
Ooh, what were we reading?
Shoot.
Was it the women?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The women.
Okay.
And it was military base, Vietnam era.
Yeah.
It was so just badass women, right?
Yeah.
That
That was such a great book.
we don't talk about.
No,
in
it's
that era.
definitely
Yeah.
not something that Erin talks about. She talks about other books.
I loved that book. In fact, I think I've read, it's by Kristen Hanna.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've read at least one other book of hers, maybe two.
Really?
But now I'm blanking on the name. It was a World War II book. I just remember that book was very moving, and you had a story that was very moving
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about that on here or not.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that's a part of my journey as well, right? And that's a part of my story that can help others, right? So 2017 on the USS McCain, I lost my son to this horrible collision that happened in the Singapore Strait. And so going through bereavement, it was difficult. I didn't know what to do. Like, you have all of these emotions bottled up inside, and you're like, what do I do? How do I get this out? How do I understand all of this? And eventually I just said, enough. I'm going to go and talk to a counselor. I went to a bereavement counselor, and she I thank her because she helped me maneuver the aisles of grief, right? There's so many emotions that go through us, and you don't know what to do or how to do it. And so she literally gave me the avenues to unpack all of those emotions. And so the reason why I picked that story, or I was so compelled to read it, is because of the parallels with Vietnam and the military and my son. And so I was just like, And as I was reading it, I was comparing not just the Navy, but the Army and all of the things that the soldiers and the sailors and the military men and women have to go through on a daily basis, right? We don't talk about the things that they witness and they come home to, right?
Right.
We don't talk about that. And so when I saw the book and I read it, I was like, I want to talk about it because I want to shed light on not only PTSD in the military, but also grief and how to combat it or how to live in it in a gentler way and not allow it to consume you in the heaviness. And so we have this book club, and I remember someone saying to me, "Oh, I'm so sorry for the loss of your son."
Yep.
And I said, I really want to find a way to take that word or that phrase and change it, right? Because when I hear "I'm sorry," that's like I did something to you.
Right.
Right.
But you didn't do anything to me. So if you want to show compassion towards it, maybe say, "How are you doing?" Or I understand, or "I don't understand, but if you need anything, let me reach out," right?
Yeah.
Or I'll reach out. But "I'm sorry" just makes it so like, I'm sorry, right?
Right.
So it's so passive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like people don't know what to say, so they
Exactly.
say "I'm sorry."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so if we find other ways of sending your condolences besides "I'm sorry," I think it would be more.
So for Sean and I actually have had a conversation about this, and we're very similar. And when these kind of situations come up, we find ourselves saying things like, "Oh, that's terrible. What was their name?" And just start asking questions and just start talking about it, because then that awkwardness kind of goes away where you're just like, I don't know what to say. Well, ask a question.
That's right.
They're going through something.
That's right.
So what was your son like? Like,
Oh, what was he like? Oh my gosh. He was this gentleman, super tall, just an angel, just a walking angel. Mm-hmm. I remember when he was a baby, he was so stage 5 clinger, maybe a stage 10 clinger. Like, I could not put this kid down. And so I had to cook with him on my hip. Well, from that, he came, I used to be a preschool teacher, so he came to preschool with me, and we used to do cooking activities on Fridays, and he loved cooking. That planted that seed in his body
since he was a baby.
Yeah. Right? And so he wanted to go to culinary arts school, CIA, and his dad was like, "No, he needs to join the military." And I'm like, "No." And obviously he won, but he was such a gentleman. He was just this, and he still is. He still is, even in spirit world. He still is such a gentle soul, and that's what he was. And he was a person. He was a people person. He was always trying to encourage others to improve their physical skills. When he was in the Navy, like if they had to do the PT scoring every year, he was like, "Man, instead of being a 15, maybe do a 12. Maybe get it in under 10." Very athletic, very health conscious. So there's nothing else I could say about that kid. He is my universe still.
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
So.
I love that. You prepped for this episode.
I didn't really prep.
Okay. Because I have a million things that we...
I asked
Ray and I can go off on tangents for hours.
Well, I asked Grok for some questions that you would ask somebody who is into cannabis.
Ooh, fun topic. Let's go.
It has some...
Let's fucking go. Okay.
It has some funny questions. But remember when we were on the boat and you were talking about some cannabis products to help women? Do you remember?
What does it help women do?
Well, it helps
Tell
with
me
like
more.
menopause.
Oh.
Menopausal.
Oh.
Right?
I'm sorry, I'm not quite there yet. Do you have
You're too young.
Do you have cannabis products that help with other things?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cannabis is an amazing plant. An amazing plant from root to stem to the leaves. It has so many medicinal properties that we have shied away from, right? So pandemic came, I went down a rabbit hole and found this online course for becoming a cannabis health coach, and I was blown away by all the information, all the knowledge that this plant has that where have we been? Under a rock, right? So I started experimenting. I bought this machine to infuse oils, honey, whatever I want to infuse. And then I started doing some more research, and I started making suppositories for my Hello Kitty, right? Because I don't want her to, now that I'm becoming menopausal or perimenopausal, I don't want her to lose her
Zazazoo.
Youthfulness.
right. And so I have an oil that I apply, but I also use suppositories there also to enhance, not only enhance the area, but to enhance the orgasm as well. Can we say that?
Yeah, you can say orgasm.
We talk about all things.
We
on
talk
this
about
show.
a lot of different things. Yes, yeah, it's a good show.
So yeah, and I'm telling you, when you try it, it's like a whole different world when you're connected in that way with, especially when you become really in tune with your feminine aura. Your feminine aura. When you become connected with that and you're having an hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Well, I have not tried it up my hoo-ha yet. But I am really curious now.
Right? Very intrigued.
I wasn't expecting that. No, and I'm open
Were
to
you
it.
not there for that conversation?
I probably was really stoned. Just like
that's
watching
very
the ocean. No, but it's interesting because I find that stuff really, really interesting because we probably even talked about this. Did I tell you about when I went to Ann Wakemore?
No.
Okay, so a year ago, I went to Ann Wakemore right after my birthday just to do a complete detox cleanse. I figure it's a good way to start the next decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they're, raw vegan, like no salt, no anything. They're big on living food, so a lot of sauerkraut, that kind of stuff. And they're big, big, big on wheatgrass. And they grow all their own stuff. And so you could get wheatgrass whenever you want. And let me just tell you, that was the best wheatgrass I have ever had. Because you try wheatgrass,
Yeah.
that kind of tastes like swamp juice.
Yeah.
This wheatgrass, because they care so much about the soil that everything is grown in. It's so sweet.
Mm.
And they're big on wheatgrass. They're like, okay, in this class, we're going to show you how to drop it in your eyeballs. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And so I'm doing drops of wheatgrass in my eyeballs. And then they're talking about
what does
it's
that
supposed
do
to
for
help
you?
clear your eyes and help prevent cataracts and all that kind of stuff. But then, another class is just like, okay, because they're big on enemas and colonics and flushing out, big on microbiome. Anyway, you could also implant it, is what they called it, in your butthole. But also, you could put it up your hoo-ha, too. I didn't know that wheatgrass could go in so many holes. It's amazing. And
Wow.
but they talk about how it like connects, like when you put it up your hoo-ha, how it connects with like your vagus nerve. And that and it's like this big thing. And I just find that stuff really interesting.
Absolutely.
So I have never shoved cannabis up my hoo-ha, but damn.
I have.
I'm not opposed.
And it is a magical journey. Magical.
So ever since you went down the cannabis rabbit hole, you just kind of kept going.
Yes.
Because
yes.
we've had conversations before, and you're like a freaking expert. You know so much about this plant.
Well, I find that I'm all about holistically healing myself and others, right? I find you sit and watch TV and the commercials are, and this causes blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, wait a second. Why am I taking this if my head's going to pop off?
Yeah.
Right? Right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. If this plant has so many medicinal properties, let me see how I can find the right whatever to make whatever I need. And that's, I cook with it. I make my own pasta. I make my own butter. I make my own whipped cream. I make my own oils for my skin irritations, my sunscreens. All of that can be made with this plant. And you don't have to just smoke it. You can have an edible. You can insert it.
Implant.
You can implant it.
Is it illegal to implant it? How would they know? They wouldn't know. Oh my God, we just found an amazing loophole.
But it's so crazy. That's the law here. You can, as long as you're not smoking it, and you have your medical card, it's legal. At the moment you light it up. That's why at the dispensaries they don't have paper. They don't have other paraphernalias, right? Because you're not supposed to smoke it. And it's like, okay, whatever.
That's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Well, I think that when it comes to cannabis, it's something that there's still that stigma, that it's like, oh, it's a drug. Oh, it's a gateway drug. Blur, blur, blur. Listen to the mass media. Stupid. Okay. Anyway, but it more people just need to better understand, and that it is a plant. And especially if you are religious in any way, shape, or form. I hold no judgment to anybody, but like, don't you think everything was just given to us that we need here? And there's a lot of plants that do a lot of medicinal, wonderful things for the body.
Absolutely.
So this is just one of them. That's all. That's all.
And there's so many different ways to use it.
So I just think that there needs to be more, opportunities for people to just learn about it, Well,
Becs, during Christmas last year, I did a high tea society, and it was more so like a lunch, and it was an informal, educational luncheon. So you came, once you sent me a text message saying you wanted to come, I sent the details of where it was going to be located. It was a handful of people. I only had room for 10, and I got 8 people to come. And that was the perfect size because it was very intimate, and they asked questions, and everything was answered. I gave out a pamphlet. We ate. I prepared a meal. Everything was, it wasn't infused, so it was just a regular meal. I showed them different ways of consuming it, and if they wanted to try something at home, they could at their own home, right? It was very informal, and they were like, oh my gosh, when are you going to have another one? Because I explained the whole flower to them. If you have IBS.
Yeah. Irritable bowel
syndrome. It is, if you just eat the leaves, right, and just, if you do CBD is very good for that. Because it's all with your gut. It goes inside your gut, and it literally calms it down. But we don't know these things. We just think about getting Pepto-Bismol and and taking that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if
and you look at all these ingredients that you can't
Right,
even
right.
pronounce the name
Exactly.
of it. All these chemicals
Exactly.
that you're putting in your body sees that as
Exactly.
foreign objects that it has to protect itself
Yep.
from. I could go on like this for hours.
Me
Going
too.
to. I'm not
Okay, I have a fun question.
Ooh, good.
Okay. You're stranded on a desert island with only one cannabis CBD related product.
Ooh.
What is it, and how are you using it to survive? Or just chill? Because, I mean, you're stranded on a deserted island.
Wow. If I was stranded on a deserted island, I would have to say I want gummies.
Yes.
And the reason why I say gummies or anything edible, right? Your psychoactivity, your high, is going to be longer. And depending on how many you have, it could be intense, right? So I would rather have that than
Because
have...
it's a totally different thing, smoking it first. Because
Right.
because when you have an edible, it has to do its thing in your stomach.
That's
so it's
right.
creating like a whole different,
That's right.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
and it's really good.
And it's
So good.
magical.
It is magical. That was a good question, Erin.
That
Thanks.
was.
That would be thanks to Grok. What's the wildest misconception about cannabis that you've ever heard?
That you're going to be addicted to it.
Oh,
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
not a substance that will have you addicted,
Right.
Right? Like any other, like alcohol or cocaine. It's not going to have you. You can, if your body starts to tolerate it, you just pause for a day or two. Don't smoke for a day or two, and you come back. But people aren't aware of that, so they're like, "Oh, well, I need to get higher, or I need to." If your system is just maxed out,
Yeah.
So relax,
Yeah. Chill.
chill for a day,
Yeah.
2 days, come back, pick it up, and you're like, "Oh, wow!" Right?
Well, it's done wonders for Sean. It got him off of his anti-anxiety medication. It got him off of his blood pressure medication. It has done wonders for his ADHD, keeping him able to focus. And let me tell you, when he is stressed and he is not, smoking or anything, and he has his medical license, he can get ornery, because it's like all that stuff is now, and it just keeps him calm.
That's right.
It's good.
Well, it is crazy the different uses that they have for it now, like ADHD. Like, don't they have specifically for all kinds of different?
All kinds, literally, Alzheimer's, Crohn's disease, cancer,
Oh, cancer, Parkinson's.
Parkinson's. Like, the list is so long, and you're like, wait, why haven't we known about this?
Right. And why haven't we been using it and prescribing it?
Because it's a plant.
Yeah.
And you can't
Yeah.
patent a plant.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They got to make that Skrilla. Wow, I just said that.
You are so silly.
I was going to ask this question, but I think I know the answer to it. And it is, what's the most out there cannabis trend that you've seen that actually made you raise an eyebrow? I feel like we already touched on this with the.
She seems fine with
I
that.
know. I don't think
it's a
she
big-
raised an eyebrow.
No, I think I think she raised both eyebrows and then screamed, shouted to the Lord, "Hallelujah!"
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'll have some of that.
I'll have what she's having.
That's funny.
But yeah.
This is a fun episode. This is a very fun episode because normally we don't overly active. We don't actively talk about cannabis on the show.
Not really.
No, and and there's always the sad thing about that is there's always that little bit of you where you're like, yeah, because you don't want to be judged, and especially
Right.
when we have like the show. But the truth of the matter is, just more people need to be more open-minded because it does so much good. And I mean, for crying out loud, let's just preach for a second. if everybody got a little stoned, we would have peace in this world so fucking fast.
Hello. The world would be a much better place.
Everybody would be like, let me help you with that.
Right.
I love you. Come on.
Right. Right. You're absolutely correct with that one.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yay, cannabis.
But it's interesting when we talk about cannabis and how there's so many uses for it. When people don't, so when you get your card, right? You get your medical card, you go to the dispensary, and you're like, okay, so I have a shoulder pain I want to get rid of. What do I use? You don't know, right?
Right.
Should I use indica or sativa? And what are these things? And how? I think if we had education or knowledge or some kind of, let's take the stigma away from it and realize that you can use it in so many platforms, even for, like, I don't want to say kids, but like adolescents, for girls that are going through their menstrual cycles. There's so many oils that you can use to help with that, the pain. But there's so many other things that we can use, and we should understand sativa and indica. Sativa is going to have you in your head thinking like really creative things or how to make things better, right? Or listening to music, and you can literally hear the notes when you have sativa, right? Indica, just think in the couch because you're going to be super chill, super relaxed. So if you know this, you're like, okay, I'm going to the dispensary. I need to get,
And
how
you're
do I
going to
want to
sleep
feel?
really well.
Exactly. Oof. And that's the thing with even menopause and perimenopause. If you took just a tote before you went to bed, the hot flashes, you wouldn't even know because you wouldn't wake up, right? Because you would be knocked out.
See, and this is the biggest thing is the lack of education. That's the biggest problem here is lack of education, because I can't even tell you how many people I've met, women in particular, who I've, openly talked about, cannabis with, and they're like, oh, no, I won't ever do it. I had a bad experience. You hear that every single time. Right. I had a bad experience. You had one bad experience. You never want to do it again because you had the wrong strain. That didn't work for you. And trust me,
well, and it's changed so much too. Like,
yeah, but I've had the wrong. I can have the wrong strain too. I can have strains where I get crazy paranoid.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to feel that way.
No.
Right.
And then I find the right strains that work for me are perfect. It's just like with my body chemistry.
That's right.
It just clicks.
That's right.
Can we do a cannabis edition of Rapid Fire?
Well, it's only got 3.
So we'll give her 10 seconds.
Okay.
Fly me to the moon, let me play beneath the stars.
Love it.
And let's start Rapid Fire right now. You're gonna enjoy this time.
That was great. Okay.
All right.
Ready.
All right.
And go.
Gummies, tinctures, or topicals?
Oh, gummies, definitely.
Avi. Sweet, earthy, or minty?
Oh, sweet.
Sweet. Coffee or tea with your CBD?
Oh, tea.
Always tea. Love tea. Okay, I love a little bit of coffee here and there too. Yes, she did it in 15 seconds. Well done.
I know.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah,
You
very
won.
good.
You
We're
won
we're
rapid fire.
Yay.
Yay.
And just a note, everybody wins, even if they don't.
What do we
And
win?
Sometimes Bex makes me redo it.
Just one time.
Just one time.
It was
Just
just
one
one
time?
time. I wasn't vibing with
Oh.
it.
So I feel like that leads us into tea convo.
Oh, I love tea. Well, we've had this conversation. I'm completely obsessed with tea.
Correct.
Yeah. And so...
Well, wait, what tea are you talking about?
What tea are you talking about?
Tell me more. I'm kind of like a connoisseur of all tea. Well, no, loose leaf, organic, like good tea. I don't do the bag. I don't. No.
So, okay.
Good.
So organic.
Good tea.
What was that? What was the good
I don't know.
for?
Everyone's like,
Who knows with her?
Okay, so teas. I love tea. I love all organic.
That's the
loose-
second time that you've tried to say oral. By
I know.
The way.
I must be needing to have some oral, right?
Go get your suppository. Get that done.
Oh my god!
Did you see this conversation going this way?
I sure did not.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right. Are you enjoying this conversation? Oh, we got a leg slap. Yes, she's enjoying it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! But yes, tea. I love tea. I love loose tea and like exotic tea.
Oh yeah, and just like there's a tea for every mood, for every for again medicinally, right? I mean, when I was going through I'm a little nasal right now still. I'm finishing getting over it, but all the sneezing, I had seasonal allergies, and I had this ginger, turmeric, clove tea. It has black pepper in and everything, and I've been drinking that every day, and it really helps. You know, put a little raw organic honey in with it too. Ooh.
Yum.
Delicioso.
We have some at home that's for the womb, so it's super bitter. Ugh, I can't even sweeten it up. That's how bitter it is. But it's to help with your womb, so womb care.
So people going through the menopause.
It's for menopause. It's literally to reset your hoo-ha, because once again we don't take care of her, right? We totally just leave her to her own vices, right? When we should be taking care and talking to her as well.
Yeah.
So the tea is
Hey girl. How you doing? What you doing? You look fine.
no, not like that.
You looking good. Shit, girl. We on fire. All right, I gotta stop.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, tea.
Oh, this is a good one. I like this question. How do you think cannabis would have changed history if it was around during, say, the Wild West or the Roaring 20s? Which I'm sure it was, but
So it was definitely, it's been around for millions of years.
but was it widely known that
Oh, absolutely. So it was, I knew I was going to forget this guy's name. I knew I was going to forget his name. He worked in the federal government. His name is going to come to me.
to you?
Anyway, he is the one in the 20s that was so anti-cannabis that he got it put
Banned.
scheduled
Oh, yeah.
one.
I
right?
forget his name. I know who you're talking
can't
about.
think
It
of his
wasn't
name.
Rockefeller. It was
No, it was like all. His name is Harry J. Alsinger, and he is the FBI narcotics guy who
From the 20s?
That's what it was.
from the
Yeah,
1930s that had cannabis banned. Why? Because all of the jazz players was consuming it. And all the jazz players were African American. And so he did not want the white women to go to the cabarets and listen to the African American jazz players. So he made it a Schedule I drug. Threw Billie Holiday in jail. Like, he was that obsessed with separation that he had that drug. Prior to that, cannabis was in Coca-Cola. It was in all kinds of drugstores where they made the drugs at, like, the pharmacist was there.
Well, he had
it was in,
cocaine and Coca-Cola too. Crying out
exactly.
loud.
So like until up until then, it was widely used, and then he stopped it.
He shut it down.
He shut it down, and that's why.
Interesting.
And if you go and look him up, you'll see all the propaganda that they used to promote the prohibition of it. It's very interesting.
I bet it's, I mean, like, actually doing the history of marijuana, and I bet Like, is there a book?
Oh, yes.
I'm sure.
Oh my God, there's
Yeah.
so many books. There's this one book that I have in my library that I use. It's called Women in Cannabis, and it tells you like the history of cannabis, what to use it for, how to use it, how to entertain with it. So when I was in this rabbit hole, there was during the pandemic, there was a conference. It's called Women in Cannabis. I don't know if she's still doing it or not, but it was in Reno, Nevada. And so I went, and when I tell you it was like being around your tribe, there was like this exhibit hall, and there were tons of books on everything cannabis, from cooking with it to healing to growing. They had all kinds of exhibitors. Like this one lady had a little tent, a greenhouse tent. It was fascinating. So that was another of my like, wow, this is fascinating.
It's so fascinating. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, your body doesn't need to heal itself from cannabis.
Absolutely not.
You take one drop of alcohol, your body literally has to heal from it.
Your liver.
And we're drinking all the time.
All the time. So
You
think
know,
about that.
It's lowering your immune system. I'm speaking to that right now because I got seasonal allergies, and that was fun. But with cannabis, it's like it just needs to be legal everywhere, and they need to have bars where they
Oh
make
my God.
mocktails
Oh my
with
gosh.
good
Oh my
organic, good
goodness.
good ingredient juices, real teas, you know. And then it's like, yeah, put a little bit of cannabis in it, and then good times. It's always a good time.
It's always a good time.
It's always a good time.
But you can also like make your meals with it as well, right? So you can do like, I've made fresh pasta where I've ground it up and put it in my pasta, and so it's like an edible if I don't activate the flour first. It'll be, if I don't activate the flour, it'll be a CBD, so you won't get that psychoactivity, but you'll get the CBD properties of it, like the internal properties of it. You just won't get that.
So
Heady.
that calming and the healing, just
healing.
like it's doing all the good things.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. As opposed to if I activate it before, if I activate it before I put it in the pasta, and then I cook it in the pasta and eat it, it's like an edible. And depending on how much I eat, I could be having a high for a nice time.
I
Right?
mean, I like pasta.
I mean, I've made a cake. I've made cookies, pies,
Brownies.
I've made my own flour. I've made my own sugar. So,
Wow.
I had a brownie the other night.
how was
So I
it?
wanted to just chill out. I had a very introspective night. It was fantastic because I was by myself and I just wanted to just zone out and be within.
Mhm.
And those are some of my favorite times. I do a lot of writing during
Good.
that time, and it was beautiful.
Good. It's like
So
a little
chill.
hug.
So chill. That's exactly. Oh
like
my God, that is such a good way to describe it. It is like a hug, and it just like you just connect with yourself, and it's incredible. It's great. I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
So I did look you up on.
Social media.
Well, no. Well, yes. Technically, yes. Because I just did like a little Google search.
Right.
Just to see what I could find. And it took me to your LinkedIn. And so you had a yoga company? Do you still? Are you?
So I'm a yoga instructor full time. My company is a yoga and wellness company. So I do yoga retreats. I also do cannabis retreats. So I want to eventually merge the two, but again, that stigma, right? That
Do you know what
damn
I would
stigma.
be? I would be. Yeah, but you'd get the right people because I would be all for that because I am horrible at yoga. I fall all over the place. But if I'm feeling very happy and good during that time, then I'm just going to laugh it off.
Right. And that's, for me, when I indulge in cannabis, it allows me to not have that. It allows ego to go away.
Yeah.
It allows ego
Yes.
to like take a seat in the back seat,
Yes.
right? Sit your ass back there and allow me to be open and
Yes.
just experience that moment of wherever I am, right? Mm-hmm. I rave about it so much because I feel like it's been misdiagnosed or mislabeled for all these years. Mm-hmm. That people can heal themselves if they just tapped in, and instead of saying, well, I need to go to the doctor and get all these prescriptions, and you're like,
these doctors
fudge.
are just drug pushers.
That's all they are.
They are
all
taught
they are.
they are taught two things in med school. They're taught to cut something out of you or prescribe a drug.
Listen, I went back home to get my yearly physical for women, right? And I said to my doctor, who's a woman, I said, so did you get my mammogram results? And she was like, oh, girl, you don't want me to read those. And I was like, what do you mean you don't want me to read them? She was like, I can't read them. And I was taken back because my previous doctor in New York, she would read the mammogram. She would read everything. And she was like, oh, no, we have specialists for that. But I'm like, but they're connected. They're connected to my body. You are a female doctor doing that part of the female. Excuse me. Why wouldn't you know how to read that?
Weird.
They study 2 weeks in med school, and that's it, on how to read mammograms. I was floored. I'm like, well, but that's because we have specialists. And I'm like, but my primary GYN doctor should know. She's my front line.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like a
that's-
red flag.
That's a huge red flag for me.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Whole other.
Yeah.
Whole
Combo.
topic. Right.
Yeah.
I'll have to have you back to talk to
I know.
get into all that.
I know Rachel's one of those people who would be good for like to bring her back on
Yeah.
another,
Yeah, yeah.
where we can get deeper on other things. Because I think there are a lot of people, I really think there's a lot of closeted people who are into not just cannabis, but, the spiritual stuff. And they're into it, but, society, right?
Right.
They want you to just, and again, I don't judge anybody for whatever religion you're into.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You go to church awesome. Do what works for you.
That's right.
Right? But also be open and be okay with other people doing what works for them.
Right.
And I think that there is a lot of people who are kind of closeted on the mystical stuff or the natural, healing and that kind of stuff because they're afraid that if they start talking about it, then they're going to look like a, hippy dippy or,
witch.
just
I
like
think
witch.
that's less so here, though.
Well,
Not
yes,
necessarily.
but still not
necessarily.
Yeah,
I think
because there's still,
Oh, yeah.
And that's really a shame. And so,
Yeah.
If you're out there listening, and you're totally like vibing with us right now, like there's 3 chicks here that you can talk to about this shit. So,
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a huge advocate for it. And I just, when I posted it in December, I didn't get an overwhelming response. It was like trickles in, right, for my high tea society. And I was just like, and then afterwards.
I don't remember ever seeing that. Where'd you post it?
I posted it in the coffee chat. Like,
the coffee clutch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that chat's too.
busy.
It's way too busy.
Yeah.
I pretty much like go in there and just go to the bottom because that thing is
Too
crazy.
busy.
Yeah.
But then after the luncheon, I got so many, when are you going to do another one? When are you going to
Right.
do another one? And I was just like, I don't know. We'll see. I only put it on pause because I wanted to find out what the litigation side of things are before I go full steam ahead, right?
Yeah.
And now that I know what I can do, I'm ready to start back. And so it's just
I love it.
timing again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to hold these kind of conversations because I think, especially for women, in our age group.
Excluding Becs.
Yeah, excluding Becs, right? It helps with so much. Like perimenopause, it helps with the mood swings. It helps with the heat flashes, the night sweats. It honestly, it calms it down.
Well, just a note, aside from that, it helps with, you know, like menstrual cramps and all that too. Like I take it for that because I'm somebody who gets horrible cramps. And that's the reason why in high school, my doctor put me on birth control to begin with. Because that was like the go-to thing was you have heavy flow and you're super crampy. Here, let's regulate you, right? And so I was on that for over 23 years. It effed my body up. And I've been off of it now for over 2 years, 3 years. We're going on 3 years now, I think. And I finally feel like normal again, but I get cramps. I get really bad cramps. And I take a little edible or some oil, and it's amazing. And I didn't have to take any prescription or over the counter medication to help with the pain. You know? If I can do things as natural as possible, I'm going to. And I'm not perfect.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. January I went back home and I was shoveling the snow at my parents' house, and I came back here. 2 days later, my wrist was like inflamed. I'm like, what the hell? So I went and got an x-ray. It wasn't broken, but I think I had like a really bad sprain, and I was putting this oil. My wrist feels so much better. Yeah. And I didn't have to do like over-the-counter drugs or even get a prescription from the doctor. He gave me like a muscle relaxant. I was like, okay, thank you. But I didn't even get it. I didn't get it filled because I was like, I'll handle this myself. Yeah. Because I know what I want in my body. And I think we have to be our own advocates for our own health. And if we don't, if we just keep allowing them to give us prescriptions, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
It's a really good conversation.
Yeah.
It's going to appeal to a specific audience. And I'm hoping that some people will just stumble on it and be like, ooh.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. Because we started off very strong with the whole like,
oh yeah,
right
out the gate.
Yeah, right there. Like, hoo-ha, yay, suppositories.
Yeah.
Who knew suppositories could do so much?
Enlighten your life.
Enlighten. Give you that big O.
Oh, I love it.
It's a good time. Yeah. Seriously, Rachel, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
Yes,
You're welcome.
it's been a joy.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, love it.
Love it so much.
Thanks, Ray Ray.
Yeah, Ray Ray. Love you, Ray Ray.
Welcome. Love you guys both.